Okay, so I guess now you all have joined. In today's class, we're going to study about the. So we are going to study about the new technical article that is being published. So let's see. I hope so that I'm audible and visible to every one of you. Sorry, the new pre-scene that is being published, not the technical article. So please let me know if I'm audible and visible to every one of you. Mohit, ye on kar. I'm just waiting for the other participants to join, and then I'm going to start in 2 minutes. Okay, so let's start today. In today's class, we're going to talk about the pre-scene that is being uploaded. One thing is for sure that the pre-scene which is currently being uploaded is basically a non-conventional industry. This is something which you guys must have not seen in the previous any single attempt. In all the previous attempt, we have seen the commercial entities being uploaded, but this time the pre-scene is about a non-profit organization. Again, a non-profit organization does not mean that the pre-scene is going to lead to a difficult scenario in the real examination, nor does this mean that this pre-scene will have to be dealt in a very different manner, because it's not the industry that we are basically concerned with, because historically there are instances in which there was an industry related to football. So similarly, even if the football industry is being tested, we don't know about the technicalities of football. In fact, they drilled into the football industry with an impact of looking into the different groups of the football and different clubs that are operational in the football industry. So someone who is not aware of football industry, it was basically something to be known by those individuals as well. And they were also able to clear this exam. So this is not an industry to be to be thought about that we will not be able to pass this exam, or we are concerned about that how we are going to deal with this in the real life scenario or in the real examination scenario. This is not something that should be your point of concern, because our major aim when we are looking at the pre-scene is just to identify how the models can be connected to the pre-scene. In today's class, I'm not going to give you a detailed analysis as to how the pre-scene will work. We will have a class on that tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow. But for today, what we are going to do, we are going to thoroughly read the pre-scene that is being uploaded. We are going to try to connect as many possibilities of the pre-scene with the topics that we have already covered in our classes. I hope so that I'm audible and visible to all my students online. The basic aim of today's class is just to have a connectivity of how the pre-scene is being examined, what information are being given in the pre-scene material. Even if it's a non-profit organization, you can see that the level of information and the total amount of information is same for commercial entities and for the non-profit organization. So if you try to, practice the profitable organizations, or if you are practicing the previous question, that are equally trustable and you can practice them. It is not the case that, okay, how will I be able to make a non-profit organization scenario in the real exam? What will they be asking? Will there be something new or will there be something different? No, that is not the case. The entire paper will totally be dependent upon the model technicalities and the concepts that we have already discussed. See, when we are teaching the SBL examination, or when I'm teaching you the SBL examination, remember one thing, that the teaching that we are doing is not with regard with only commercial entities, and it's not with regard with the non-profit entities. There is no professional, well, let's suppose jargons, or there's no professional involvement of knowledge in the non-profit organization, nor it was for the commercial organization. Same governance structure may apply for a commercial organization. Same governance structure may apply for a non-profit organization. You know it well that when I was teaching you guys the topical areas, you know it well that I taught two types of boards, that is the unitary and two-tier board. And we have already discussed in our regular classes that the two-tier board normally applies to a philanthropist or a non-profit organization. So now we have a non-profit organization and we know that there's a two-tier board. I'm assuming that he's not going to make a conversion from a two-tier board to a unitary tier board in the real examination. But even if it does, it's not a matter of deal, because we know the concept of both these type of board. So the pre-scene that we are going to discuss today, I'm trying to connect some models with the pre-scene, and we will have a two-way communication. You guys are going to let me know that, okay, sir, we have discussed this in our class, and I think that we can connect, because the most simplest model that I think that can be connected to any pre-scene is the pestle, quarter five forces, SWOT analysis. These are all the simplest model that can be connected to any and every pre-scene. So basically, we are going to drill down the pre-scene. We are going to have a post-mortem approach of the pre-scene so that we can identify that how the pre-scene is being tested, how the pre-scene is being given, what type of information the examiner is trying to discuss with us. Remember one thing, the pre-scene is just the basis of the knowledge. The pre-scene is just the basis of the knowledge. The actual part is going to be the exhibits that you are going to get in your examination. One thing is for sure, that the pre-scene is being given in your scenario right now. You are being uploaded with this pre-scene on your ACCA portal. You already have gone through the pre-scene. You already have the access to the pre-scene. This pre-scene is just for the impact of creating a know-how about the industry and the company that we are going to deal in our real examination. One question. Second question is, sir, will we get this pre-scene in our paper as well? Yes, you are going to have a separate tab for the pre-scene. My suggestion is that we are going to thoroughly read this pre-scene as many times as possible. We are going to have a thorough impact in terms of the analysis of this pre-scene. We are going to have a summaristic viewpoint on this pre-scene. And we are assuming that after going through the summary, after going through the thorough analysis, after going through the pre-scene, we will be in a position to, deal with this pre-scene in the real examination in a very appropriate and a very important manner. See, assumingly they have given us the risk in the pre-scene, and historically, we have seen that the risk applies to a commercial entity, and the same risk may apply to the non-profit entity. There is a governance board, there is a governance structure that is being identified in the pre-scene. Historically, we have seen that there was a governance structure in the commercial entity, and there is a governance structure in the current pre-scene as well. You are going to get the pre-scene in your examination as well. Yes, you can't take this pre-scene in the printed format. No, you will not be allowed to take the pre-scene in the printed format. You will have a separate tab for the pre-scene. There are some information that I would like you to mark on your pre-scene that you can keep in your mind, or during the first 25 minutes of you reading the examination, what you can do is you can just try to copy paste that specific information from the pre-scene and keep it on your response sheet, so that you don't have to refer it back again and again in your examination. But that will be your professional judgment as to what should be copy pasted from the pre-scene. I'm going to let you know that what actually should be copy pasted when you are going to see the requirement of the real exam. My point of view is that this is a non-conventional industry, that is a non-profit organization industry. It has not been historically tested, yes, but the fact is that something that has not been historically tested has nothing to do with the difficulty level of the examination. Again, the difficulty level of the exam will remain the same. The testability of this exam is going to be the same. The topics that need to be tested in this exam is going to be the same as commercial entities and as historically they have been tested in any other pre-scene or any other question. So now we are going to start off this pre-scene. You can see the pre-scene is being uploaded on your ACCA portal. If you don't have the access, it's okay. If it's not uploaded on your portal, that is also completely fine. Just download this pre-scene. You can have it. I can share it with you on your WhatsApp groups. I've already shared all the, but I can share it again and as well. The point of doing the pre-scene stuff is just to make sure that we have ample amount of knowledge in regard with the pre-scene. So I'm just sharing this pre-scene in front of you. Before getting into this pre-scene, is there any question that you guys would want to ask in regard with the pre-scene? If there is any question, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just entering into the world of this pre-scene. I'm giving you 1 minute. If you have any question in your mind in regard with the pre-scene, you can ask. Okay, so I guess there's no question. Let's start. Is there any old past paper related to the non-profit organization? Yes, there are old past papers that were tested in 4-hour examination scenario. I'm going to let you know those two past papers. There are basically two past papers that were tested in the old 4-hour scenario. You can practice on that. Yes, we have the NCCP. You can look into that. Even if the football, there's a club association in the football industry that is also considered to be a non-profit organization. So don't worry about the non-profit organization. Yes, 2020 December. Plus, before getting into pre-scene, make sure that you read the technical article as well. We have already done in our regular class, but that technical article is very important. Managing the strategic change and the culture. That's a very important technical article. So you need to drill down into that technical article before going into the pre-scene and before going into your real examination. Let's start. The pre-scene is a bit simple. They have not provided any technical information regarding the non-profit organization. Even if they have provided any sort of professional word or professional jargons are being used in the pre-scene, that's also perfectly fine because they have given self-explanatory paragraph in order to identify a specific word related to the pre-scene. So don't worry about the technical part of the pre-scene. How we have. Yesterday I just received a message from a student saying that, sir, I feel like skipping this attempt because of non-profit organization. What the hell is wrong with the student? I really don't feel that student should be sitting for any examination now or any furthermore, because this is not the way, to deal with a situation which says that, okay, we have a non-profit organization. Trust me, when you are going to go into your examination, the questions are going to be the same as it used to be in a commercial entity or as it used to be historically in the previous questions, in the previous attempts. So you just need to be present with your mind. You just need to focus on your revision and don't worry about if the industry is a non-profit or what could have happened if the industry would have been a technically IT-oriented industry. We don't know. We know nothing about the IT. There was even a question on the Internet of Things. So students in that time also attempted the same question. And trust me, they were able to secure 50% of the result. So don't worry about the industry. Industry has nothing to do with the impracticality of the paper. Industry has nothing to do with the difficulty level of the paper. Industry has nothing to do in regard with if you will be able to understand it or not. Because I'm going to give you a very major insight about each and every part of the industry. Internet of Thing is Internet of Thing. Okay, we have discussed about Internet of Thing in our regular classes, buddy. Yes. On me or उसको बोलो. Okay, let's move forward. Let's quickly get into the pre-scene. Remember, in this pre-scene, you are being given with the information such as okay. So in this pre-scene, you are being given with the introduction. Then you are being given with the sector information. Many people think that historic places is a metaphoric view about the places. It's not a places. It's basically the company that they are talking about. So this is our company. This is our company, and this is the industry that we are talking about right now. So first, they have given a brief introduction, maybe about the company, maybe about the industry. Only. Maybe about the company, maybe about the industry. Secondly, they are going to give us an information about the sector. And thirdly, they are going to give us an information about the company. Just give me a minute. Wow. Okay. So they have first given us an information about the Ardisia sector information. That is the overview about the charitable sector. Remember, charitable sector does not specifically means public sector organization. It may mean a non-profit organization or a non-governmental organization. Yes, non-profit organizations are explicitly regarded as the public sector organization. That's true. But it does not specifically mean about the charitable or the public sector organization only. So they have given us an overview about the charitable sector. They have given us the charities, legal positions, charities, regulation, heritage subsector, heritage charities, significant stakeholders, charity income and expenditure. The only technical part that they have used in this entire scenario is to let you guys know what's an income and expenditure account. Remember, for a conventional organization, we normally prepare a profit and loss account. For a charitable organization, we normally prepare an income and expenditure account. In a conventional organization, the end result might be in the form of profit, or the end result might be in the form of losses. For a non-profit organization, the end result will be in the form of surplus, or the end result will be in the form of deficit. Historically, I have seen that whenever they have given an information regarding the income, they normally ask the student what other sources of income can the charitable organization or the commercial organization can have. So there are 2-3 sources of income being given in this scenario. There can be a question that what other streams of opportunities or what other streams of philanthropist opportunities can this organization work upon. So they have given an information about the income, expenditure, challenges, and they've also given an information about the key performance indicators, that is the KPI. So KPI cannot be dealt with in an isolation. It needs critical success factors. So critical success factor means all those factors that are going to be considered to be critical in the scenario, all the factors that are considered to be critical in the scenario, and that may help you in generating revenue in the near future. So critical, for example, if I talk about an airline industry, the critical success factor are going to be the safety, comfort, and the timelines. So safety is going to be one of the best critical success factor. Then we need to focus upon the timeline, and then we need to focus upon the comfort. Key performance indicators are the numbers that basically depicts how your critical success factors are performing. For example, in year one, the safety ratio was 98%. In year two, the safety ratio deteriorated to 92%. In year three, the safety ratio deteriorated to 90%. So this means that the safety overall is deteriorating. So this is going to lead you to a loss-making organization, or this may erode the customer's trust and confidence from your company. So critical success factor are all those factors for any entity, either it's an airplane industry or it's a charitable organization, will make it successful in the upcoming years. Let me tell you one thing. Do you know there is an organization in Karachi that basically takes you for visiting the older places of Karachi? I recently came across an organization that take us to an excursion trip to the old places of Sadr and the Empress Market. So they normally take it on Sunday, and they are also doing with the philanthropist impact. They are just going to make you see all those places, Empress Market, and all those old areas. Specifically, this is for the posh areas. That is DHA and Clifton. The people who are living over there, they don't know how the old building looks like in the southern and old city area. So basically, it is for them, and they are doing a wonderful job by taking people from one place to another, and they are also donating the entire amount of money that they are generating from this excursion trip to a charitable organization. So something like that is also seen over here in this specific industry. Then they have provided us an information about our company, whose name is Historic Places, the background, mission, values, governance, executive board structure, code of conduct, acquisition of sites. Remember, whenever I see the word acquisition, I am getting an idea that he might also ask for opportunities in regard with joint ventures. He might also ask for opportunities in regard with mergers. He might also ask for opportunities in regard with strategic alliances. So we have gone through all these possible cases in our regular classes. We have already seen what strategic alliances mean. We know what joint venture means. We know what acquisition mean. We know what mergers mean. So he might ask for a question on strategic alliances. He might ask for a question on joint venture. He might ask for the possibility of this organization to amalgamate with a commercial organization so that they can have, for example, you must have seen in the restaurant, I saw a philanthropist CSR activity done by the restaurant, which says that for every bucket of chicken that you're going to buy, we are going to donate $1 to a charitable organization. So they may have some strategic alliances in regard with a commercial company as well. Then operational activities, stakeholders, IT system, risk. Again, I have seen two types of question specifically on the risk in the pre-seen model scenario. The first type of question that I've seen is that they have identified few risks in the pre-scene, and they normally ask the student that the risks that have already been identified, what impact are they creating on the company, and what mitigating factors are you going to apply in order to reduce the harmful effect of that of the risk. And the other not so conventional question, or or a question that is not yet being asked many times, but it has been asked, is that to create or identify further risks apart from the risks that are already being identified. So you need to be prepared for both these two different types of questions in the scenario. Then they have also given us a website extract, and they have given us a financial and non-financial information. Normally the financial and non-financial information is being connected in the exhibit in the form of providing you some acquisition target, or in the form of providing you an information that the company is about to amalgamate, the company is about to merge with another company, and the merger is going to result in more amount of profitability, or the merger is going to result in maybe more financial resources being identified in the company, or something like that. So we need to keep the financial and non-financial information in our mind while solving such a question. See, what I believe is that one question in your scenario is going to relate to this financial, non-financial information. And this is the only thing that I'm allowing you to see during your examination. That is the financial and non-financial information. You are allowed to open up your pre-scene, have a look at the financial and non-financial data being given in the pre-scene, then go towards your exhibit, see what the exhibit is telling you, and then start writing your answer. because this last part of the pre-scene is just a single diagram, or these are just the 3 to 4 diagrams that have been given to you in the last page. So you can revert back to this specific part of the financial and non-financial information before solving that one-on-one question, or in your paper scenario which relate to the financial and non-financial acquisition target. They may give you some NPV calculation. They may give you some acquisition model. They may give you some financial sources. They may give you some bank financing resources. They may give you let's suppose an expansionary plan for the company. So whatever plan, whatever proposal, whatever acquisition target, whatever merger acquisition possibilities they have given you in the exhibit, you are going to connect it with the financial, non-financial information given to you in the pre-scene, and then you are going to start solving the question that is being asked in your examination, right? So I hope so I've given you a bit brief introduction about how the things are going to work in this pre-scene. Let's see. Historic Places is a charity which operate in the country of E. It aims to preserve historic sites in the E. So similar organization is right now working in Karachi as well. Their aim is also to preserve. See, what they do is, their model is that they are going to take people to visit these historic sites, and whatever revenue that these people are going to generate, they are going to invest this revenue, or I would say is the surplus amount. They are going to donate the surplus amount to a company. You all have this handout, right? सबके पास है ना? Okay. They're going to donate this amount of money to a philanthropist organization, and that philanthropist organization is going to use this amount of money in order to preserve the old building and the old sites. So this is how the entire model works. They take people from different background to visit these historic places. They charge an amount of money. If they are getting a surplus, they donate the entire surplus to an organization, and that organization basically work for the benefit or for preserving the buildings and the old sites. So I don't know if this organization is working on the same model or not, but I have seen this model being operational in my economy, that is in Karachi, and I've also witnessed by going with them, and I've also seen it. They normally provide their services for 2 to 3 hours, so it's a very good impact that is being provided by the company. So let's see. So sector information. Now they are basically letting us know about the industry in which we are operating. Overview of a charitable sector. Charities, charitable organization promote the welfare of society and the public interest. So charitable organization is basically looking after the charitable societies and the welfare of the society. Their basic aim is to work upon the public interest. They carry out many different activities, including helping the sick. So what if I say that in the real exhibit, or maybe in the pre-scene, there are many different services being identified in the industry that we are operating. But what if we are not offering all these services? So if I ask you that I would want to increase the size of my business, what should be my viewpoint, or what should be my methodology of moving forward? So the first methodology, or the first option that you're going to provide to your business is that if you are not offering all of these services that the industry is offering right now, you should try identifying how to offer these services, and you should try identifying how much amount of donation can you generate from all these services. So the first option that you can explore is the amount of services that the industry is offering. What if we are not offering the entire amount of services by our company? So we can see they may have given this information in the company information in the pre-scene, or they may give you this information in the real exhibit as well. So let's see. So the first thing is helping the sick and disabled people. Number 2 is providing poverty relief and education. Number 3 is preserving history and campaigning on issues affecting the society. Charities raise funds. So there are 3 major domains. So if I say, although this word is used for a commercial entity, but let me use it. If I say that how many SBUs do we have? In such case, we can change the name of the company. No, we are not going to change the name of the company. Obviously, the name of the company is Historic Places. So we are going to see, we may give a suggestion that because the name of the company is historic places, so we are just offering one service. I'm assuming that they are offering one service because it says historic places. So we can explore the two services. And I can bet over the fact that you're going to get a question like this. What opportunities does the company have? So you may be asked that, okay, you're right now working in only single domain. You may go for the other two domains and you may explore some opportunities of the other two domains. So it says, and camping on issues affecting the society. Charities raise funds through various methods. Now, there are different methods of identifying the funds. Number one is donation by those who support their work and commercial activity. The charitable sector include large national charities and smaller charities which operate on a single site. Achha, you can also find this video on my YouTube channel or on my social media account, GoFundMe account. This GoFundMe account is also a method of getting a charity. Because in that GoFundMe account, see, it's an online account where you poses your reason of getting a charity. For example, this GoFundMe account was very much popular during the COVID time. So this GoFundMe account was generated on the basis that there are two different types of groups. One group that was in favor of introducing vaccine, and the other group was not in the favor of introducing vaccine. So both these type of group presented their cases on this GoFundMe account. There were several people who supported the individuals who are not in favor of vaccine. So they funded their cause. And there are several people who were against the vaccine. So these people funded the cause of not introducing the vaccine into this world. So same goes for the charitable organization. The charitable organization also have some donation sources, but these include the large national charities and smaller charities which operate on a single site. For example, I can have a charity box in a shop. I can have a charity box in an office where some charity might be done by the employee or the people who are passing by through that shop. So charity legal position. Charities in E are often set up as companies limited by guarantee. Now, you must be assuming, sir, what's company limited by guarantee? Any one of you know what's company limited by guarantee? Yes. There are different forms of limited companies. Sorry? There are different forms of limited companies. One of the form is those companies that are limited by guarantee, which means that another company has given a guarantee. Very good. That they will pay. Very good. So there is a company, there must be a company that has given us a guarantee that if this charitable organization is not able to pay off its liability, there will be a guarantor who is going to be held responsible for whatever amount is being held liable on this type of charity or this type of company. So very good. Basically, these are being guaranteed by the trustee or the person who is donating. Normally, that specific company says that I'm going to take the guarantee of this company. So a company limited by guarantee does not have any shares or shareholder. This is something very specific and a very good information being given to us. So they do not have any shares or shareholder. It is underwritten by a guarantor. So underwritten means it says that okay, I have a legal contract, and a legal contract means a guarantor says that okay, I'm going to take the undertaking of the company and I'm going to make sure that the company is in safe hands. And what if the company is not able to pay off its liabilities, or the company is not able to pay off its debt? I will be made held liable for all debts and liabilities that are being taken by the company, who guarantee to pay the specified amount of money to help to settle this. So you must be noting one thing. Even if you don't know one concept, he is able to identify you what the specific concept basically means. So see, I didn't know what company limited by guarantee means. For example, let's suppose I don't know what company guarantee by limited means. So it says that the company limited by guarantee does not have a shareholder. So I got to know, okay, they do not have shareholder. So I got to know that, okay, there is a guarantor who is going to underwrite that I will be made responsible for whatever debt the company is going to take. And if the company defaults, I'll be paying off the entire amount of debts and liabilities. So it says only in the event of insolvency. So only in the event of insolvency. It cannot be the case that, okay, if I've taken a liability from her and I'm not able to pay off the liability right now, we are not being regarded as insolvent, so she can go towards the guarantor and ask, okay, give me back my liability because you are the guarantor. No, that is only in the case of insolvency, bankruptcy, bad debt. Surpluses. So I don't know what surplus means. Again, the profitable organization makes profit and loss account. the charitable organization make income and expenditure account. If the income is greater than the expenditure, it will be regarded as surplus. If the income is less than the expenditure, it is known as deficit. So surpluses are not distributed to the guarantor, but invested in the charity to help to promote its charitable objective. Charity activities are determined by the governing document, that is the constitution. I would rather say the vision of the company is going to define what is the objective of this charity. For example, ED exists to treat patients. ED exists to take patients from one place to another by using their ambulances. So there are many charitable organizations with differing objectives. So their visions, their constitutions, their legal documentations are going to identify what is the basic aim or theme of running this specific charity. Many charity raise funds by means of surpluses from commercial activities. Okay. For example, running a shop. Commercial activities are carried out through subsidiary companies which charities wholly own. So now what does it mean? It means that, okay, I have created a charity to treat patients, right? So there can be different sources. For example, I'm getting donations, but I do not have that much amount of money being raised through donation. So what I can do is, right now I have another company, that is company A, and that company A runs a commercial shop. For example, a grocery shop. So let's suppose if that company makes a profit of 10 million, this 10 million is right now considered to be profit for the commercial entity. But whatever profit is being generated, because I own 100% of this entity. So what will happen over here is that this entire amount of profit will be donated to this specific charitable organization. This is how the things are going to work. I am a trust organization or a charitable organization. I own a company with the name of company A, and that company A has a shop. So I own the shop 100%. So the charity will own the business and the profit will be going to the charity. Yes, the charity is being owned by the business, and now the entire amount of profit that I have generated during the year, it is going to be donated back to the company, that is the charity. So this is how the charity legal position basically. See, I am a charitable organization and I'm not getting enough amount of money through donation. So what I have done is that I have an amount of money left in the form of surplus. Let's suppose $100 million. I'm talking about a very big charity. It has $100 million rupees, $100 million being left in the company. So what I did is I invested this $100 million and made a company that owns 100 shops, right? So now all those 100 shops are being owned by me as a charity. Now that specific shop or all these specific shops are right now working for the grocery object. They are selling grocery on commercial terms. They are getting an amount of money. So all these 100 shops have generated an amount of profit. Let's suppose during the year they generated an amount of profit of $10 million. So whatever profit that they have generated are going to be redistributed to a charitable organization. Let me tell you a very quick example that you must have heard. Do you know about the Citizen Foundation? You know about Citizen Foundation? You know, there is a school with the name of Citizen Foundation. Now that school is right now working on the commercial term. However, whatever amount of money in the terms of profit is being earned by that school is donated to a charitable organization, because that charitable organization 100% wholly owned that Citizen Foundation. So that Citizen Foundation is in 100% ownership of charitable organization. Then I also know one more thing. There is a masjid with the name of Baitul Salam. It owns an institution of O and A level. Its name was, I guess, Huda Foundation or something. I don't remember the exact name. एक सुपरवाइजर एक इधर भी है कुरंगी में. I really don't know the name. So they own an entire institution and they are charging an amount of money. Yes, they are charging an amount of money, and that specific money is being donated back to the Baitul Salam Charitable Trust. So this is how the commercial organization can also help in providing the surpluses to the charitable organization. Now, charity regulation. Charities in E are regulated by Charity Supervisory Board. You need to remember this name. You should remember, rote learn. You should have this name in your heart, because this is a regulatory organization that has been working in this economy. This organization is very to the power of infinity important during your examination. This organization is a government-based organization that provides a charitable impact and looks after the regulatory parts of the charity, established by the central government. The supervisory board, I don't know why, but I'm getting an intimation that they might be asking you some question in regard with the governance and its structure. They might ask you some question in regard with the governance. The CSB aims to ensure that the general public can be confident that donations to charity will be used in proper charitable purposes. So the charitable board being made by the central government has the responsibility of ensuring that whatever funding is being generated by that specific charity will only be used for the purposes identified in the Constitution. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, the CSB investigates allegation that charities are not acting in accordance with the charitable organization objectives. So, the CSB also has a responsibility of performing fraudulent audits or forensic audits. Then, are behaving unethically and misusing the funds or otherwise breaching the regulation. So I'm going to be very slow when I'm reading this so that we can have all the drill down approach in this entire scenario. The content of the charity account is governed by a statement of recommended practice published by the CSB. So what do you understand by this word? What do you understand by this line? What actually the contents of the charities accounts is governed by the statement of recommended practices, SORP. What do you understand by this word?
There's a financial statement, there's a proper way of doing it.
Yes. So there might be some regulatory frameworks, there might be some standards in regard with how the financials of these charitable organization being shown to the stakeholders and how the audit impact of these financial statements being prepared by a non-profit organization being brought into the attention of each and every stakeholder, published by the CSB. The CSB require all charity accounts to be. There may be a scenario that you are an auditor of the company. There may be a question that is saying that you are an auditor of the company and you need to perform about a fraudulent task being identified by the CSB board, and you are going to report directly to the CSB board. There may be a possibility of question like this as well. So it says the CSB requires all charity accounts to be audited. Larger charities whose annual income exceed 10 million need to report on internal controls. I'm getting an intimation that there might be a question regarding the internal control and its failure. They may say that there is a CSB audit due next year and the company management have identified some internal control weaknesses. You are the external consultant of the company. Identify the internal control weaknesses from the exhibits given in the scenario, and also identify how these internal controls can have an impact on the overall operational hiccups in the company, and also identify how to manage these internal controls. So I'm getting an intimation that, okay, because they say that for whichever company exceed a surplus target of 10 million, I'm assuming income target, not the surplus. So whichever company are getting an income target of $10 million, they also have to give a report on the internal controls of the company. So a report on the internal controls of the company, this might be a situation that you are an internal control manager of the company, or they might ask you that you are an external consultant of the company and you are being asked to report on the internal control issues, its mitigating effects and its mitigating strategies. So, and risk management system. So it's not only the internal control, they are going to report on the risk. Trust me over the fact that there will be a question either on the internal control or on the risk management, because this is being intimidated by this is being provided or hindered by the pre-scene that is being given to you. So I'm getting a hint that, okay, there might be a question on internal control. There should be a question on the risk management of the company. You need to keep on writing whatever I say, right? With the report being reviewed by the charity's external auditor. So the things work like this. Okay. So there is a framework. If I jot down my points, there is a framework of SORP that all charitable organizations need to follow. However, if an organization income exceed $10 million, you need to give us 2 extra reports on internal control but this is not the end. The internal control and risk report should be audited by external auditor. It should be audited by the external auditor, right? Is it clear? So there's a framework that every organization will be following. However, if the organization is having an income of $10 million and above, there are 2 additional reports, internal control, risk, and these 2 additional reports should be audited by the external auditor. So it says need to report on the internal controls and risk management system, with the report being reviewed by the charity's external auditor. Charities and commercial subsidiaries wholly owned by the charities are not subject to taxation in E. Or perfect. Now there's another technicality being introduced. So if I'm earning a profit of $10 million, this profit is profit before tax. Now there will be a 0% tax, not only on the trust, but also on the commercial entities that are wholly owned by the trust. So this means that if I transfer this amount of profit towards the trust or the charity, there will be no tax on this charity and there will be no tax on this commercial organization. This is a very established rule. So this paragraph is going to be of greater importance. See, you need to remember this in your mind before going into your examination. There are 2-3 things that I would want you to, have this specific part being remembered in your mind. Number 1 is no, they will be audited, but they will not be taxed. They will be audited, but they will not be taxed. Again, it says the charities and commercial subsidies wholly owned by the charities are not subject to taxation in the E. So E is an economy. In E, there is a charity supervisory board being introduced by the central government. The major aim of this specific board is to look into if the donations being introduced in the charity use in the specific targets of the constitutions of the charity or not. In order to ensure this, what they are trying to do is that they are trying to create an objective by introducing a framework known as the SORP. The SORP framework is being applied to all companies. However, if the income of the company exceeds 10 million target, you have to provide 2 more documents being audited by the external auditor. These two additional documents includes the internal control and the risk assessment. Now, this internal control and risk assessment should be evaluated by the external auditor. Once the external auditor has evaluated this, also remember one thing, that there is no taxation. There is no taxation on no tax on commercial activity of all those organizations that are 100% owned by charity. Is it clear? Just give me 1 minute. Okay, moving forward. Yes, audit will be of all the charities. For only the charitable organizations that are producing a revenue of more than 10 million, they will have to produce two additional documents, that is internal control and risk assessment. Then heritage subsector. Now, what does it mean by heritage subsector? Many charities in E exist for the purpose of preserving the country's heritage at urban and rural site. Urban means the country area, and the rural means the village area. Heritage means things of, see, even he's going to define the word heritage. So he's trying to make it as easy as possible. So heritage means things of historical or cultural values which are worthy of preservation. So something that's of historical value, that are worthy of preservation. Charities in the heritage subsector conserve and maintain historical sites, including buildings and museums and objects kept at those. They generally allow public admission to the site which they maintain. Heritage charity aims to bring history to life for visitors, to seek to encourage people, public appreciation of and participation in heritage. They include encouraging members of the public to visit sites and work for the charity as unpaid volunteers. So this means that they are normally encouraging people who also want that these heritageal values should be upheld in their economy. So they are being called for an unpaid volunteership so that they can encourage other members of the society as well. Heritage charities are also concerned with education. They host visits from groups of school children and students at their sites. Some establish formal links with the schools and university. A number of charity providing training in conservation and other activities. See, the charitable organization that I was talking about, we went on a particular Sunday, and they normally take an entire group at 8 o'clock in the morning. They first go for the breakfast, and then they take us to the old areas of Sadar and Empress Market. So at the end of that excursion trip, they basically helped us in identifying that how are they going to preserve these buildings. So I was told that there is a building that is 150 years old. For example, I can say that I'm from St. Patrick's. My school is around more than 100 years old, and the building is of the same structure and with the same bricks, and everything is same. So the fact is that they also want to preserve the historical values. They also want to preserve the historical. So what they are doing is right now is that all those groups, they're taking these schools and university children to these historical sites, and they are helping them and educating them in order to let them know that how they can preserve the historical sites and the historical something of historical value. A member of the charity providing training in conservation and other activities. The two largest heritage charity in E are historic places. Number one, HP. So congratulations, we are the largest charitable organization in the company, in the economy. However, now we know that our basic domain is just to preserve the old sites and something of value in terms of heritage, something of heritageal value. We are working on only on single domain. So what if I ask you that I would want to increase the domain of my work? So we have options over here, that is helping the sick, providing relief, and we are already knowing the third part, that is preserving the history and camping. So first can be helping the sick, second can be providing relief for the relief and education. So these are the areas that we can further explore if we are being told in the examination. I'm just having an educated guess that okay, they might ask you that what are the further opportunities that you should explore or you should identify. So this can be a further opportunity that you can use in order to explore more uh, valuable resources for your company or more amount of surplus to be generated. Then moving forward, it says charities. The two largest heritage charities in E are historic places, which mainly looks after sites over 300 years old. So our major domain is 300 years old sites, and living the past, which mainly cares for the sites which are less than 300 years ago. So I can tell you that there's a school in Sadar that is 110 years old. It's a 110 years old school. You can go and visit over there. So, 300 years old sites are being looked after by our company. So our major domain. So even if we want to increase the size of the business, we can enter into a market of preserving, if there is no legal regulation on us of preserving the sites that are less than 300 years old. That can also be an opportunity. But remember, if there is no legal regulation of not doing so, because there might be some regularity that okay, you are doing this part and the other company is going to do the other part. Then heritage charity significant stakeholder. I don't understand why, but I'm getting a point of view that they might ask you for a project initiation part, and they may say that there are some individuals being identified in the pre-scene, and we would want to introduce one specific project of helping the poor in terms of medical or education. So prepare a PID or an already prepared PID, identify how it can be made better than the PID that is already being prepared by the employee of our company. So it says heritage charities, significant stakeholder, trustee. Trustee are individual who oversee the charities activity. So these are individuals who oversee the charities activity. They are responsible for ensuring that it acts in accordance with its charitable objective and constitution. So trustees are those individuals who are overseeing the entire charity activity, and they are in regulation. Trustees should ensure that the charity risk controls and risk management system are effective, and they that the charity is managed with honesty and integrity. They develop the charity's strategic direction in conjunction means the connection with the executive management. Trustees are accountable for charity's activity to the trustee supporter, the trustee supervisory board, and general public. So the trustees on whom we are right now relying, their major domain is to look after the risk control and honesty and integrity of the company. However, the trustee are accountable to the trustee supporters, the people who are supporting the trustees, they are accountable to the supervisory board, and they are accountable to the general public. Then we have the executive management. So the executive managers are employees. So they are the employees responsible for the day-to-day operation. They normally meet regularly as an executive board or committee. Can you tell me, if there are two-tier board, do they have the power to vote and have an impact in the decision making of the company? The answer to it is no, because they will be regarded as the management board, right? So we have, in a two-tier board, we have the supervisory board and we have the management board. So there is an executive management who are the employee of the company, and they're just responsible for the day-to-day operations of the company. They normally meet regularly as an executive board or committee. Other paid employees, volunteers. Paid employees include head office administration staff and staff working or full or part-time at the sites. Volunteers. Volunteers carry out unpaid work at a charity site in the spare time. They have no contractual obligation to keep volunteering. Donors give money to charity without expecting anything in return. Donors may give on a one-off or a regular basis. So there may be donors who are giving it as a regular charity, or there may be donors who are giving it one-off. Members. Member pay an annual fee or a one-off fee for life membership, which gives them certain privileges. Depending upon what charity does, the most important privileges which the membership gives them are free admission to the sites operated by the charity and voting at the charity annual general meeting. So do you get an idea of who the members are? So members are those individuals who are going to get a lifetime membership. So you're just going to pay the membership fee. Normally, we don't call it as membership fee. We call it as subscription fee. So we are going to pay a subscription fee, and after paying the subscription fee, I will be given a status of being the member of this organization. Now, once I become the member of this organization, the privileges that I'm going to get is that I can enter the sites that are being preserved by these organizations free of cost. Number one, this is the first privilege that I'm going to get. The most important privileges which members give them are free admission to the sites operated by charity and voting at the charity's AGM, including electing the. So do you get who are the part of the supervisory board? Don't you think that they are becoming the part of the supervisory board in terms of having the voting right? Right? We are going to discuss about it further as well. Members do not own the charity and do not have any responsibility for its debt. Why? Because it's a limited liability charity, and for all the liabilities, the responsibility is towards the charity, and if the charities are not able to fulfill, then the guarantor. Non-member visitor. Non-member visitor pays an admission fee to have access of the site. So, for example, if I pay $100 and I become the member, so I can visit lifetime on these historic places that are being preserved, and I will have lifetime voting power in the AGMs of this company. But if I'm a non-member, I'm going to pay a fee of $5, let's suppose, to visit a historical site, and I can have a visit to that historical site as well. Guarantors guarantee a specified amount to help to settle a charity debt. If the charity become insolvent, but are generally not otherwise involved in the charity activity. So basically what happened is that even one specific charity can have 2 to 3 guarantors. Remember, it says that the guarantor is going to guarantee a specified amount. So if I say that, okay, if the charity is not able to pay an amount till $10 million, I, as a company A, takes a guarantee that if the charity will not be able to pay and it go insolvent, remember, it's not just the payment part. There are two parts. If the charity is not able to pay and the bank or the court is declaring this charity as an insolvent or a bankrupt, I will pay $10 million. So if the debt of the charity is $12 million, the guarantor is only going to pay us $10 million, but there may be two guarantors. There may be 3 guarantors, or there can be 1 guarantor as well. So whoever is going to provide debt to the charity is going to first look at the guarantor. First, he's going to look at the guarantor, and then he's going to look at the assets of the company. Then the Charity Supervisory Board acts on behalf of the e-government in overseeing the charity's activity. Stories in the media can illustrate the good work charities are doing. However, media coverage can also be a source of bad publicity. For example, stories about charities wasting money. Stakeholders who give money or non-financial resources, donors, volunteers, members, non-member visitors are sometimes known collectively as supporter of charity. So we have seen this word previously, which says that the trustee is responsible to the trustee supporter. But out of those trustee supporter, not everyone is having a voting right. The trustee supporters include donor, volunteer, member, and non-member. So these include donor, volunteers, member, and non-member. I know one thing, that members have voting right. And who are the members? Who pay one-time lifetime fee. They have the voting right. But I know one more thing, that volunteers must not be having voting rights. Right? I don't know about donors right now. Maybe in by the end of this pre-scene, they may let us know that, okay, donors also have the voting right. But I don't know. But obviously, the non-members do not have the voting right. So there is one entity that is a member who have the voting rights. So they are going to be regarded as within the supervisory board. I'm assuming that the donors might also be the part of supervisory. Do you get what I'm trying to explain? I'm going as slow as possible so that you can have the entire idea of the organization in your mind. Moving forward, it says, are sometimes known as collectively the supporters of the charity. So they are the supporters of the charity. So can a question come related to the press release if we have to help the CEO in press? Yes, yes, there can be something. Let's suppose if you're regarding your company, there's a bad publicity, they may ask you a question like this. Heritage charities income. Now, what are the sources of income? Charities raise money in several different ways. Donations. Charities obtain donation in various ways, contacting possible donors through the post, by email or text messages, or giving visitors the chance to donate when they visit the historical sites. Charities encourage donations by advertising, including advertisement on television and social media. Most charities have website which allows the donors to donate on them. Charities retain contact detail of the previous donor and focus marketing campaign on obtaining further donations from them. So they have not told us that these donors are going to be part of the supervisory board or not. But these donors include the visitors as well. For example, there's a charity box, okay, I've donated $10 or $1. So I don't think so that they can be made part of the supervisory board. So I'm assuming that, okay, donors might not be the part of supervisory board, but let's wait for the conclusion. Membership. Annual or one-off lifetime membership. But we know that when you pay membership fee, you are going to get 2 privileges: free visits to the sites and voting power. Admission fee. Fee charged from the non-member who visit charity site. So admission fee is only for the non-members. For the member, it's completely free. Commercial activity. Commercial income can be from various sources. So you know what I am talking about, the commercial income. What actually is the commercial income? The commercial entity that is being made by the charitable entity and is being wholly owned by the charitable entity. So it says that the commercial income can come from various sources. Most sites have catering facilities, cafes and restaurants at the site. Smaller catering facilities may only provide snacks and drinks. Larger facilities will often offer full meal. Charities may open some of their sites for hospitality events, such as corporate events or weddings. So remember, all the amount that we are going to generate will be donated back to the organization, that is the charity. Most sites also have shops. Smaller shops may just sell guidebooks, or other items connected to the site. For example, books about the historical period when the site was in use. Larger shops sell a greater variety of products such as greeting cards, toys, household items, clothing, bags, etc. Some of the items some of the items may be branded with the charity logo. So there's a souvenir shop in every site that basically gives you souvenirs for an amount of money, and all those souvenir shops, whatever they are selling, they have the branded logo of the site, that of the company who's preserving that specific site. Then a small number of charities in E also operate shops which are not at the sites, but which are located in shopping areas. These shops sell the same item which are sold at the charity site. Some charities also sell their shop products online. So there are many commercial activities being performed, but the major commercial activity is selling souvenirs, providing catering services, cafes, restaurants, small uh, facility providers or small catering service providers normally sell food, the snacks and drinks. Large catering service provider normally sells the full meal. The shops that are near the historic places, they are selling toys, greeting cards, household items, clothing, and bags. Normally, they have the branded name or logo engraved on those items. For the other part of the charity or the shopping areas, there are normally shops that provide these souvenirs that are being sold near the site areas as well. So, heritage charities expenditure. Now we know where we are getting the income from. Charities incur in the following main categories of expenditure: site operating cost. These are day to day running expenses, including wages of the employee who work in the sites, site maintenance and conservation cost. See, the site maintenance and conservation costs can amount in millions and millions of rupees. If you go outside Pakistan and you visit some historic places, trust me, there are organizations who are continuously preserving the historic places. For example, I'm an eyewitness of the historical places in Turkey. So there's a Dolma Pasha Palace over there, which is being preserved by a charitable organization, and they charge a very huge amount of money from the non-members. And trust me over the fact that they are providing a very well-maintained services. They are providing you some QR codes, which you can, when you are moving forward, they are going to take you to the time when the war used to take place, and because it's a palace, how was the lifestyle of that specific king, uh, how much amount of wars have he fought, where he used to sit, what activities he used to do. Each and everything were being very well depicted, and I felt that the amount that I paid for that specific visit of the palace is value for money. So these sites have lots and lots of costs, and there were lots and lots of employees being working over there for preserving these sites. So some maintenance sites require varying amount of maintenance depending upon their age and condition. Some maintenance take place regularly throughout each year and may be undertaken by the charity employee or outside contractor. Sometimes major one-off projects are undertaken by outside contractors. So normally what happens is, if there's a repair and maintenance being done, so obviously the company who's preserving, he's not going to do it himself. They're going to have a third party contractor. Okay, you need to perform the repair and maintenance work over there in this specific site. Charities also incur costs conserving the historical objects of their site. These objects often require complex treatment carried out by the specialists. So there might be some historical objects, for example, swords, or maybe the chandeliers, or any old, let's suppose, old furniture that they have. So they are also going to have some specialist being involved in conserving the historical objects. Mummies, yes. I don't think so. They're going to have mummies in the building sites, but yes, it can be mummies as well. So administration costs. These includes the cost of fundraising and marketing the charity's activity. Also the cost of administrating the membership. They also include the salary costs of the charity executive management and other head office administration staff. Charities can suffer bad publicity and attract less support if administration costs are believed to be too high. So if the administration cost is very high, the people are not going to support it, because they might think that it's a waste of money of investing in such charities. So heritage charities challenges. The principal challenge which charities face is a variety of factors which can cause deterioration in the site and objects which they are trying to preserve. Remember, I'm getting an idea that there might be questions stating that identify how to deal with these challenges. There might be a question saying that you are an external consultant of the company and identify how to deal with such challenges or being faced by the company. So the first thing is that there may be deterioration on the sites or the items that you are trying to preserve. These include the passage of time and natural conditions such as high humidity. So obviously, they're not going to ask you how to reduce the humidity. And please don't give us a suggestion that okay, you can use a dehumidifier to reduce humidity. It's a building, guys. It's not basically a small room in which you can use a dehumidifier. Pollution and violent weather condition caused by the climatic change can accelerate the deterioration or result in significant damages. Wear and tear from having a large number of visitors can also affect the site. I remember. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. Then I'm going to resume. Azan. 2 minutes. Okay. So, nice. So, pollution and violent weather condition caused by the climate change can accelerate deterioration and result in significant damage. Wear and tear, having large number of visitors can also affect. I remember the point that when I visited these historical sites in Turkey, what they used to give us is that they used to have some equipments to be worn by you when you are entering the historical site so that you cannot make the carpet dirty or the places to be polluted. So, they can use such objectives in order to restore such sites. Again, larger charities are also dependent upon recruiting these sufficient volunteers to ensure that there are enough staff at each site. Volunteers are unpaid, thus saving charity salary costs, but their hours and attendance may not be regular and they may decide to stop volunteering. So the most important aspect is that you are not being paid. So it's just if you feel like doing the work, you can do it. If you don't, then you may not be uh, becoming the part of the charity. Heritage charity face the challenges that non-heritage charities are also seeking donations. Potential donors are likely to receive communication from many charities. Charities which are in the news at particular time may raise considerable sum of money, but this may mean that donor give less to other charities which they normally support. So remember one thing: the more marketable a charity is, the more amount of money that they are going to generate. So if they ask you how to increase the overall amount of money for the company, you need to make sure that you tell them that you need to be marketable. So how can you be marketable? By presenting the pictures of those historical sites that you have worked, by presenting the history of how you have been preserving, what challenges are you facing. See, whenever we want to market the charity, it is the best way to market the charity is to present that how well are you being working for this charitable organization and what are the areas that you have worked upon historically, and if the people are going to support you now, you might be in a position to work on these areas once again. So again, this charity will have an impact on creating more amount of money for the company. Larger charities also dependent on, okay, heritage charities face challenges. So this is one of the biggest challenge that is from the non-charitable organization, non-heritage charitable organization. So let's suppose if I have decided that I'm going to donate $1,000 per year or per month or after every 6 months. So if I'm going to donate, yes, we can go for the e-marketing opportunities. We can go for the e-marketing opportunities for the for donation related objectives. But let's suppose if I say that okay, I'm going to donate $100 per month. So what I have decided is that I have received an email from a non-heritage charity stating that please help us in in helping the poor people. So I might give $50 to them and $50 to the heritage. And historically, I used to give $100 to the heritage charity. Now I have distributed my charity to two different charities. So this means that I will not be giving the same amount of money this time as I used to give in the previous time. At present, there is a recession in EU. So you know what recession means? Recession means that the overall economy is going down, and as a result, many charities have seen a fall in the donation. So, what about getting international donation as the country is in recession? Yes, you can go for international donation. See, the only thing that you need to present, maybe if the question is being asked from you, is that how to increase the charity. You are only going to say to make your charity more marketable than the as compared to the other charities. So the only word that you're going to use is to make it more marketable. Now, how you're going to make it marketable? By introducing some e-marketing concept, by reaching out many potential customers, by drumming up the doors of the historic donors of the company, by asking for some PR support, by introducing many other objectives that can help you to increase the amount of donations. Then heritage charities key performance indicator. Now, what are the performance indicators that is going to help the heritage charity? Financial indicator, income. The key performance indicator that you're going to look at is non-financial indicators, commitment. So income, membership fee. The key performance indicator means that the membership fee is going to define if you're working well or not. Donation, site admission fee, income and commercial activity, that is shop and catering. So if your shops, if your catering business is working well, you're getting more amount of money. If your site admission fee is increasing, you're getting more amount of money. If your donation is increasing, if your membership fees is increasing. So, but remember one thing, if the membership fee is increasing, this means that the non-members are converting into members. So you are losing the non-membership fee. So you should have this thing in your mind, right? If the non-membership fee is increasing, so this means that you are no more converting the people into membership fees. So there's an indirect relation between the two areas. Then income generated per visitor from shops and catering activity. Non-financial indicator, commitment, number of members, how many number of members, how many number of donors, how many number of volunteers, how many number of visitors to site. I'm expecting an exhibit stating the different areas of revenue being generated in a specific year. For example, they might be providing you an exhibit that the income, they might give you an income and expenditure account, of 2024, and they may say that okay, the income is coming from the membership fee, donation, site income from the commercial activity, and income from the revenue generated per visitor. And these income are from for the year of 2024, or they may give you 2024, 2023, which have more chances, and 2022, a comparative value. Now, they may also give you the income and the expenditure. So, as donated above, they may give you, there are 3, 4 different types of expenditures that are being incurred, and they may give you that after deducting the income and expenditure, we are left with a surplus or a deficit. So members, donors, volunteers, and number of visitors. Expenditure, again, they have told you what expenditures do we have. So site operating costs, site maintenance and conservation costs, administration expenses, and employee cost. Then education and development, the non-financial indicator, number of educational visits to site. This is basically the schools and universities visiting to the site. Training days for the staff and volunteers, and trainee employed. Now, one thing, you can market this in order to attract this and the non-member fees. In order to attract this and the non-member. So you are providing training to the employee. Plus, you can market this in order to get more volunteers as well. So this is something that you might be marketing in order to get more membership fee, in order to get more non-membership fee. Then the operating margins, surplus of income over expenditure, conservation, preservation, number of hours spent on conservation. So this is also something to be marketed. So if they are going to ask you that how can you market your charity, you may say that we are going to showcase how many number of hours we are spending on the conservation process, and how many objectives have we worked upon, and how am I, or how are we maintaining the project that we have completed. Then satisfaction, feedback from the members and visitors. Again, this is also marketable if it is positive, right? So feedback from the members and visitors, feedback from the employees and volunteers. I'm getting an overview that they may give you an exhibit stating that there is a website extract being given in the exhibit, which says that what are the feedbacks being provided by different categories of visitors. There may be some positive feedback, there may be some negative feedback, and they may ask you that how to convert these negative feedbacks, what strategy should be used to convert these negative feedbacks into positive feedbacks. So feedback from the employee and volunteer, percentage of annual members renewing. Then environment, resource consumption, how much resources are we conserving, percentage of energy obtained from renewable sources, waste and recycling rates, and carbon emission. So these are all the areas that is relating to the non-financial indicator. I don't know why I'm getting an intimation that there may be a CSF question. Sorry, SFA question. SFA is suitability, feasibility, and acceptability. Because you know it well that SFA question is going to relate to financial and non-financial data. So they have given you some headings of the financial and non-financial data. So they may ask you that identify how the suitability, feasibility, and acceptability of accepting a prospect or of increasing the size of the current charity. So you have to work upon it depending upon whatever exhibit they are going to do. Yeah, they might go for CSR question, but because of the fact that they have given us the financial and non-financial indicator, for that reason, I'm thinking that there may be a question in some way or the other connected to the SFA model, that is the suitability, feasibility, and acceptability model, stating that these are the suitable areas that you can work upon in order to increase the existing business, or in order to have in order to go for the acquisition of another business. Historic places. Now, yeah. चाहिए अभी कौन सी बना? Do you guys want a break right now? Online students? Do you guys want a break right now? Okay, let's have 5 minutes break. Let's have 5 minutes break, and because the physical students right now need a break, so just 5 minutes, and then we are going to resume. It's right now in my watch. It's 8:13, so I'm going to resume it at 8:18. Okay, so you can go and come back. Please. Just 5 minutes. And let's move forward. Now, historic places. Now, this is basically our company. It says historic places operate in the heritage charity sector and was founded 120 years ago. So, historic places are company. So, there could be a question related to the money laundering in the organization. Not exactly money laundering, but maybe some fraudulent activity. Yes. So 120 years ago. So historic places itself, it's very heritage itself. It has a very heritage value. HP is a large charity which looks after around 350 sites over 300 years old. Many of the sites are castle and museums. It does not look after any site with religious connections. So not the masjids, not the the religious places, but only the places that have some history, maybe in the form of castle and museums. HP is a company limited by guarantee. Again, it's a company limited by guarantee. And remember, the guarantor is going to provide a limit on the amount that they want to guarantee. And that is only in the case of insolvency, right? HP's senior management and most administration staff are based at the head office in E capital city. HP commercial activities are undertaken by subsidiary, which HP wholly owns. So this means that there are certain commercial activities that are done by the subsidiary, which is actually, so the commercial activity, if it crosses 10 million, you know what is going to happen. We have to provide 2 additional document, external audit, and tax free for both the entities. Yes. So mission and values. HP mission is that it permanently protect and preserve site entrusted to it and promote interest in and access to them. The values which HP promote are historical truth, accessibility, enjoyment, involvement, transparency, inclusivity, diversity, social and environmental responsibility, and stewardship. This is just a vision of the company. Again, the vision is very promising, and it says that we are going to preserve the sites and have an interest to them. Governance, very important, and something that can create a question. HP have two-tier governance structure. As I have told you, that non-profit organization normally have two-tier governance structure with board of trustee and board of executives. Now, who are the trustee? Going back, who are the trustee? These are individual who oversees the charitable activities, and they are held accountable to the, and these supporters include who have the voting right. So now you get a trail of how the things are working.
Supporters are only the members?
No, Our supporters are more than the members, but the person who have the voting right is basically the members, right? So now it says board of trustee and board of executive. So if I rephrase it in a way that the board of trustees are the individuals who can be regarded as supervisory board, and board of executive are maybe known as management board. Is it clear? Member trustee board. Yes, members are the people who are investing in the company, and members are getting two privileges. Number one, they are going to have free access, and number two, they are going to have voting rights. So, board of trustees is accountable to three different people: general public, the members, and the donors. The general public, the members, and the donors. The board of trustees is responsible for the overall control and management of the HP and for developing its strategies in consultation with the board of executive. They are just getting the consultation from the executive board. The board of trustees has audit, nomination, and remuneration committee. Okay. The board of trustees has 9 members. The chairperson is appointed. The chairperson is appointed by the trustee and does not have a fixed term of office. HP member do not vote on the appointment of the chairperson. So it says that the chairperson is appointed by the trustees and does not have a fixed term of office. HP members do not vote for the appointment of the chair member. Okay. Nominated trustee. 5 trustees are nominated by the HP nomination committee. Their appointment is subject to the confirmation vote by the HP. And you know the HP have no. So HP members are only going to vote on these 5 nominated of these 5 members. If they are confirmed in office by the vote, then they serve for the 3 years and can then seek reappointment. If they are confirmed, then they can serve for the 3 years and then they can seek the reappointment. Members elected trustee. These trustees are elected by HP members at the charity annual general meeting. Trustees elected by the members also serve for 3 years and can see re-election at the end of this. So there's basically there are 3 different areas of 3 different people working in the board. Number 1 is the chairperson. He is appointed by the trustee, and once appointed, the members of the HP do not have the voting power on the specific chairman. Then the nomination committee have 5 trustees that are being nominated, and out of those 5 trustees, it is subject to the appointment on the confirmation of vote by the HP member. Then member elected trustee. These are those trustees that are elected by the members. So see, if this is the trustee board, these are the board of trustee. So how will the board of trustee work? The members who are donating, these are the members who are donating, and they have the membership fee either for lifetime or year-on-year basis. So they have voting power, but this voting power will not be this voting power will not be used for the selection of chairperson. So first, the chairperson is being identified, and there is no fixed term of working for this chairperson. Now, under this chairperson, there are nominated trustees. Now, the nominated trustee include 5 members. Now, if we get vote, maybe out of those 5, 3 are selected, or 4 are selected, or all 5 are selected. But it depends upon the vote. Then there is another member elected trustee, and these are being elected by the members, not voted by the member, but members say that okay, we want this person to be part of the board. So maybe there are 3%, 4%, or 5%. So who should elect the chair of the trustee from the governance perspective? Basically, the chair of the trustee, maybe they are not informed us that who is going to select the chair of the trustee, but he may be the most experienced person or the oldest person, or maybe someone who is being elected right at the start of the trust. I don't know because they have not identified, but let's see if we move forward, we may be able to identify.
Nomination committee is basically different than the members.
It's not nomination committee. It's yes, the nomination committee stated above, it is different from as compared to the nomination trustee. Nomination trustee actually means that we have identified 5 people, then there will be a voting agreement being done. Out of those voting agreement, whoever is going to win, for example, 2 people won, 3 people won, or let's suppose we have a place of having 3 people on the trustee board. So we may have the 3 top nominees to be part of the trustee board. Then we have another 3 people, maybe, or 2 people who are being directly selected by the member. So the member have directly selected 2 people. We have 3 people from the nomination committee. So the trustee board includes 5 people. The head of the trustee board is going to be the chairperson. The board of trustees is supported by the board of executive, the executive board. So the board, what is the meant? Okay, so meant by the fixed term. Fixed term means that they are going to work for 3 years, and after 3 years, they can bring themselves for reappointment. They can nominate themselves for the reappointment. So they are going to work continuously for the 3 years. The chairperson have no fixed term. Then he is going to work until unless something anomaly happens and we want to remove the chairperson. But the chairperson have no fixed term. The board of trustees is supported by the board executive, the executive board. The executive directors are appointed by the board of trustees. You know it well. The supervisory board is going to work in identifying the management board on the advice of the nomination committee. HP member do not vote for the appointment of executive director, and that's true. That is the reason why we have made the trustee board. The executive board is responsible for the day-to-day management of the operation. The executive board is headed by the chief executive officer. This is how the things work. We know it well that the supervisory board head is always the chairperson, and the management board head is always the chief executive officer. The remuneration of the chief executive board members, including the chief executive officer, is determined by the, and this is how it should work, that the remuneration committee is going to determine the remuneration of the executive board. So we have the executive board structure. I'm just replacing this name with the management board. 5 are the nominated people, and there are elected people as well. So maybe out of 5, 3 people are nominated, 3 people are being voted, 2 people are being voted, and from the elected board, there are 10 people being voted. They have not identified it yet. Maybe they might identify in the exhibits. So the management board has the chief executive officer, then we have the operation director, we have the finance director, we have the marketing director, we have the HR director, and we have the IT director. Code of conduct. HP has a code of conduct which trustees, executive directors, other paid employees, and volunteers are expected to follow. The code includes core principles relating to professional behavior, commitment, adherence to the decision made by the board, confidentiality, conflicts of interest, and bribery. Many impacts. Basically, this is talking about the ethics of the board. Acquisition of site. HP acquired building and other site as gifts from the previous owners, or by purchasing them using the HP surplus funds. HP will only acquire sites which are of national importance and are under the threat of destruction or deterioration over time. But remember, all those sites that are 300 years or old. Operational activities of the HP, if you look at the operational activity, it says every HP site is open to member and other visitors. So everyone can, be part of the HP site. An admission charge is payable by non-members to access the site. The amount charged varies between site depending upon what can be seen at the site. How often sites are open also varies. Sites must sometimes be closed for a period of maintenance, and opening times can be dependent on the staffing levels. HP aims to enhance the experience of visitors to its sites by providing guides to give tours and answer questions about the sites. I remember in the Dolma Pasha Palace, they gave us a device which had a microphone. So what used to happen is, for example, if I'm moving from one room to another. So automatically that device used to catch the QR. We didn't used to use our camera to scan the QR code in order to get the information. And in the microphone, they used to tell us that this is the place where the king used to sleep, and this is the place where the king used to recite the Holy Quran. This is the place where the king used to meet with the people of the economy. This is the place where the king used to devise the strategy of the war. So this is how it was working. For example, I remember there was a chandelier being given by another kingdom to this kingdom. So they identified that this chandelier is the world's biggest chandelier, and so on and so forth. So all those specific information were being identified in that microphone, and they needed a no tour guide. There was no tour guide involved, and no human involvement was being made. So whenever I used to move forward, the information was rotated forward in the microphone that I was being using. So this is how the operational activities were working over there. Then it says HP aimed to enhance the experience of the visitors to its site by providing guides to give tours and answer questions about the site, on-site information and exhibition about aspects of the site history. It also aims to stimulate the interest by example, encouraging children to spot features at the site or objects kept there. So they can make the children play games like, for example, you need to spot where the sword of the king is. You need to spot where the sitting area of the king is. So the children normally play such game over there as well. HP educational objective is focus on hosting visits of the group of school children and explaining to them the significance of what they are visiting. Sites also offer special events, including performance about the site's history aimed at children and families. So there are special events like performances, role play exercises. So these are also being done in these historical sites. Every site has a shop. The size of the shop determines what is stocked there. For example, for the souvenirs or snacks or drinks, every site also has catering facility where visitors can sit down and eat. Smaller sites only provide snacks and drinks. Larger sites provide full meal. HP best known sites include Mallock, Dogden, Birmingham, Stowater, and Trueworth. So these are four different sites that are the most valuable sites for getting the amount of surplus by the HP company. Stakeholders, details about the stakeholders of HP are given below. So there are certain members. HP has around 5 million members. So this means 5 million voting rights. Okay, so 5 million members, HP offers annual membership only. So there is no recurring membership fee. There is only annual membership. No, there is an annual membership fee, no full-time lifetime membership. Then benefit of the membership include free admission of the sites and regular newsletter and emails. Members have the right to attend HP annual general meeting. They can vote on the appointment of trustee. But which type of trustee? Yes, which type of trustee? The nominated one. Even the member elected trustee, the trustees are going to decide that we want this person without any nomination, without any voting, we want this person to be the part to present their view. Right? So this is how the membership work. They can vote on the appointment of the trustee, receive annual report and financial statement, and approve the appointment of the auditors. They can also submit resolutions which are not binding on the trustees, but which the trustee must take into consideration. Meaning they are going to provide certain resolutions. That's not the binding on the trustees that they are going to follow this, but it is just a suggestion, a superlative degree of suggestion, but not a binding suggestion. So do you think that Menlo matrix model can be tested? Yes, Menlo matrix model can be tested. Because they have identified the different type of stakeholder, they may go for a Menlo matrix model as well. Employee. HP has around 4,000 full and part-time employee, including staff who work for the wholly owned commercial subsidiary. The work of the HP head office and site, they work for the HP head office and site. Some have worked for the HP for a long term. Generally, HP pays average salaries for the job across the charity sector, which are lower than would have been paid for equivalent job in a commercial organization. Many employees are prepared to accept lower salary than they would obtain outside the charity because of their commitment towards HP's mission. Volunteers. HP has around 20,000 volunteers who play a very significant role in the operation. Predominantly, volunteer act as a guides, work in catering facilities and shops, and help to maintain the sites. Suppliers and contractors. The choice of suppliers and the inventory policy of the catering facilities and shop is determined centrally. What does it mean? Whatever procurement will be done for the commercial activity, that is the meal, it is going to be done centrally, that is being done by the head office. Okay, so HP uses external contractors for regular site maintenance and major projects. Contractors for large single project are employed on one-off basis. So for large areas, for large projects, the contractors are only employed for one-off basis, but we normally use the external contractors. IT system. HP information system are adequate for its administration need and are fully compliant with the data protection regulation. HP computerized information system cover major operational functions. HP has a website which publicizes its activities and allow donation to be made to the member to join. There are separate web pages for each HP site, including detail about the site such as its history, map, facilities, and views. So there are separate web pages in which you can find out that what are the sites that we are preserving, what are the history of those sites, maps, facilities, and newsletters. Risk. Now this is very important part. HP does marketing by website. Yes, HP is doing the marketing part with the website. Risk. HP maintains a risk register at its head office covering significant charity-wide risk, including threat to reputation. Bad publicity about the HP can lead to member not being willing to renew the membership. Remember, it's not a lifetime membership. It is a annual membership. Donors not being willing to donate and volunteers no longer being willing to work for HP. I'm getting an intimation that there might be an exhibit stating an extract from a news coverage which says that the HP is not performing well or there is some fundraising issue being done in the HP's business model. So that fundraising issue may have an impact on the HP's overall operational side. So this may create an issue for the HP's perspective. Okay. For the HP's perspective. So remember, if this is something being shown in your exhibit, they may ask you that you are an external consultant. Let us know how to deal out this situation. Then, and we have gone through such a question in our regular classes as well. There was a question which says that there's a bad publicity about the company and how you're going to deal with that bad publicity. Then it says other threat to income. The recession of E may limit the donors' willingness to donate to HP. Visiting HP site is one of the very many leisure activities available to the individual and families. And the risk is that the visit will become less popular, reducing income from admissions and commercial activity. So it says that the recession is one of the reasons why the income is also being reduced. Loss of employees and volunteers. If employees and volunteers leave and cannot be easily replaced, then experience offered to visitors to site may be affected and the site may be open less frequently. Because of the fact that the site may be open less frequently, some conservation work requires specialist staff and loss of these staff members may affect HP ability to carry out the work and site or historic objects. Simple and self-explanatory. Insufficient financial resources. If income is less than expected to or needed, HP will not have the financial resources to carry out the necessary conservation work. Remember, income can be from the commercial sources as well. That is the tuck shops or the shops that are operational in terms of catering and the souvenir shops. Poor performance by suppliers and contractors. Poor quality goods provided by suppliers can reduce the visitor satisfaction. Poor performance by contractors mean that the HP does not obtain value for money and may also jeopardize the conservation of the building. So they may be, they see now the situation is getting a bit clear. They are saying that this might be a challenge, and they may bring this challenge into life by portraying a press release stating that the HP is using a supplier to conserve their buildings. However, the amount of money that is they are providing to that supplier is not justifying the value for money or the preservatory impact that is being shown. So there is a press release that states negative about the HP. You're going to read that press release, and you're going to, maybe the company might ask you, or the chairperson might ask you, that what are the things that we are going wrong with. So you might give a suggestion that you have to change the supplier, or you might give a suggestion that you may go for some other form of suppliers as well. Then it says health and safety. These can affect the people working at and visiting the sites. Sites have potential hazards, including slippery surfaces, steep staircase, extreme weather may also create hazardous conditions at some sites. I've heard that in India there's a religious place for which you have to go on for 4,000 steps and then come back. So such site, although HP is not working for religious places and they're not preserving the religious places, but you must have seen such sites all around the world, or you must have heard about such sites. Then extreme weather may also create hazardous conditions at some sites. Climate and weather. Poor weather, poor weather can affect the visitors' number at the sites where visitors are wholly or mostly outdoors. Extreme weather, such as excessive heat, high winds, and or rain, can damage the site. Cybersecurity, HP computer system face the risk of disruption, jeopardizing the administration and the services which it provides. Leakage of data held about the members and donor could result in legal action. See, the data is very confidential. Why? For example, if there's a member who's donating a very huge amount of money to this company, and that data is being leaked by the HP's hacker, so you can understand what is going to happen. The HP might face some legal consequences and reputational issues and unwillingness of the members or donor to provide any further personal details to HP. Website extract. The extract covers the key actions which HP might take. They want to inspire, they want to access, they want to engage and entertain, they want to involve, they want to conserve, and they want to sustain. Remember, this website is depicting the vision statement of the HP, which we have already read about. So, what does inspire me? We want to inspire everyone who visit us in imaginative and authentic ways. So basically, if I'm visiting a palace, I would want to, at the back of my mind, subconsciously would want to hear, horses running forward. There's a war going on, and a full scenic view, a full Bollywood view or a Hollywood view, in which there's a fight going on historically, and the head of the palace, so that is the king, is fighting himself. So I really would want to have that static impact when I'm visiting these places. And honestly, if you ever have a chance of visiting Turkey, you're going to experience this. You're definitely going to experience it, because the device that they normally give, they normally, there are voices like people are fighting, there's a war going on, and this basically gives you a goosebumps. So if you get chance, and in near future, you should visit this place as well. Then, so stimulate our visitors' mind and provoke their emotion. Then access to our country's history enriches everyone's life. We want our visitors to have the privilege of standing on the spot where history happened and live the country's story. So basically, 300 years old. If there is a war that actually occurred at that specific place, so I can stand. For example, we Muslims, we know that when we visit the holy places, so we normally go and see Gare Hira and Gare and other types of places where the war actually happened. So you can imagine that specific time as well. Then engage and entertain. We want everyone who visit us to love the time that they spend with us. We engage our visitors by bringing the fascinating true story of our sites of life. We are creative. We use creativity and imagination to delight and entertain our visitors. So that there's an element of creativity. Okay, you just go and live in that specific time zone. So it should be like a time machine, taking you back to 300 years old scenario where you can, revisit in your imagination. Then involve million shares are believed that history is important for everyone, and we want to provide opportunities for them to engage with us. We rely on the generous support of the members, donors, volunteers, and we want to build our relationship with them. Conserve. We protect sites and objects which urgently of care, need our care. Looking after them for the benefit of present and future generation is essential to everything which we do. We aim to preserve and develop our collections, increasing our understanding through expert researchers. Sustain. We protect the future of our sites by being part of the worldwide fight against climate change. We limit our impact by using green energy, minimizing waste, and increasing our use of recycled resources. Our performance is measured against increasingly rigorous sustainability targets. Financial and non-financial, you can see that from 2080 till 20x3, the income is overall increasing. Split of income, they have already given you a split of income. So I'm assuming that there might be some acquisition target being provided, or a forecasted revenue may also be provided to you in this specific form. So membership is the highest because we have around 5 million members, right? Then we have donations, then we have admission, then we have catering services. Simultaneously, the revenue share is the least for the catering services, and then we have shop, which is more than the catering services, in fact, more than the admission, but less than the donation and membership fee. Remember, this is for 20x3 and it's in $1 million. So we are touching a target of around $350 million. Yes, definitely it will be audited. Why? Because it is more than $100 million. So it should be audited first, and they are going to provide, sorry, $10 million, and they are going to provide the report on the controls and risk as well. Operating expenses, and remember, it's not the profit, it's the income. So the target is set on the income, not on the profit. So operating expenses, you can see the operating expenses. Obviously, the income is increasing, so the operating expenses should also increase. But the income basically touched a margin of around $800, 800 million, and you can see the operating expenses in that specific year have reached to 750. So the operating expenses are very much in number, and the overall revenue is also so it's just the $50 million that we are earning. Remember, many people were considering, I've seen some of the comments on this, that it's the profit on which the audit will be done. No, it's not the profit, it's the revenue, because it is explicitly stated in the piece. Then split of operating expenses, site operating is the highest number, is the highest expenditure. Site maintenance and conservation is the second highest, and the administration is the least amount of money invested. Number of visitors and non-member visitors in millions. So number of visits, members and non-members have reached to 29 million people, and number of members have reached to 5.11 million or 5.15 million people in the year. Yes, 5.1516 million people in the year. So this is how the pre-scene is being given to you. Now, you remember, see, this is just a pre-scene being informed. This is just a pre-scene that they have showcased you in your ECC portal. Now the things are going to change. I'm trying my level best to make a mock and to make some exhibits on the basis of the pre-scene. See, that is not just a promise, but I'll try my level best that, okay, we are going to make a mock, we are going to make an exhibit on the basis of the pre-scene, but expecting this, that everything will be from the exhibit or the mock that we are going to present to you. No, that is not going to be the case. This pre-scene is comparatively I won't use the word difficult, but it's comparatively non-conventional, as we used to have commercial entities, but this time we have the entity that is related to a non-profit organization. I hope so that we have drilled down the pre-scene in an appropriate manner, and continue working on your practice questions that I have provided. Continue working on the questions that you have already been told in your regular classes. I'm going to try to make a mock on this. I'm going to try to make some summaries in regard with the pre-scene. See, pre-scene is just for getting you an insight. Now I know we have an industry. Now I know there are regulatory requirements. Now I know that there is a two-tier board being applied. So, so what do you think after seeing the pre-scene? How difficult? I won't say it's difficult, but it's something which is different. Historically, the pre-scenes were predictable. Now it is going to be more difficult to predict this type of pre-scene or to predict the question on this type of pre-scene. But again, if you have done your 100% preparation, trust me over the fact that you will be in a position to, cover up the entire pre-scene by yourself. You will be able to cover up the entire pre-scene by yourself. You will be able to cover up the entire questions by yourself. Don't worry about it. Sir, which knowledge area should we focus on and how should we proceed now? The only thing that you should do is keep on practicing the questions that are available. Trust me, don't think that, okay, this is a non-profit organization. Now I should stop working on the commercial topics, or now I should not work on the topics that are previously been given by the examination board. You should continuously work on the questions that you I will try to give the summary as soon as possible. Maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will make a summary of the pre-scene as well. Don't just focus on the pre-scene. Please don't start ratifying this pre-scene. Please don't start predicting this pre-scene. Please don't use any internet resources on predicting the pre-scene or connecting some topics. Just focus on whatever practices do you have available. We are going to keep our classes for the practices from now onwards as well. Our major focus is practice and not worrying about the pre-scene anymore. Right. So I'm keeping the class till here today. Thank you so much. I hope so that this was beneficial for every one of you. And inshallah, we'll be meeting tomorrow.